Weddings are always such glorious occasions. I, Fancy Nancy, have personally planned and been to so many weddings. Now, maybe these weddings weren't actual weddings, and maybe these weddings were held in my room, and maybe these weddings were with my two favorite stuffed animals. But that's aside from the point. One day I was sitting in my room and ring, 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 my Uncle Cal called. He's getting married! I am so excited, but he wants everything to be a secret. All we know is the bride's name is Dawn. But with such a fancy name, the wedding is sure to be fancy too. Expectation versus reality. Most of the time what we expect is usually not the outcome. Whether you have this great outfit planned out in your head and you try it on and you're like, yikes. Or you really study hard for a test. You go into the test expecting to get a good grade. Turns out you completely bomb it. After this happens, we feel let down, upset. This is exactly how Nancy felt when she found out her Uncle Cal's wedding wasn't all she made it out to be. In Fancy Nancy and the Wedding of the Century by Jane O'Connor. The wedding is approximately 2 weeks away, but I was packed long before it was time to go. After waiting days and days and days and days and days, which felt like forever, the big day had finally arrived and I was so ready to go. I grabbed my suitcase, opened up the front door, step out, head over to the car, open up the car door, put my bag inside, and buckle up because safety first. And I decide I might take a quick nap just to get some beauty sleep. Something nudges me awake and I cannot believe my eyes. The hotel looks like a palace. There was a pool as big as a lake and the world's largest water slide. Of course, I spent the day at the spa getting all pampered up to be the flower girl. And I am the flower girl. Jojo gets to hold my train as I walk down the aisle, of course. That night after the wedding, the reception was lit. There was a band and a DJ, and we danced the night away. And I even got to stay up till midnight. Oh, it was so much fun, and I kept replaying the night in my head, and all of a sudden, I jerked forward, and all I hear is my mother yelling, Nancy, Nancy, wake up, we're here. Say what? Was I dreaming the whole thing? I barely peek open my eyes, praying that I wasn't. Sure enough, I was. We're not in a palace. We're at the wilderness. I'm super duper bummed out. I've been sitting for a while, and then it hit me. I realized that we weren't in a hotel, which means there might not be a reception or a water slide or a pool. I know immediately I needed to ask my parents lots of questions. I run over to the cabins and head to my mom's cabin first. But mom, I'm going to be the flower girl, right? Actually, it's just the bride and the groom. They want the wedding to be informal and non-traditional. Informal? Non-traditional? What are these people thinking? What kind of wedding is this? I had another question to ask my dad. But dad, I could stay up till 12 at the reception, right? Actually, the wedding's in the morning with breakfast after. Pancakes. Breakfast? Pancakes? Breakfast is the least fanciest meal of the day. This wedding is already giving me a headache. Later on in the day, Jojo and I met Dawn. The first thing she said to me was, Well, hi there. My name's Dawn and I like collecting unusual pebbles. Would you like to help me find some? Oh, we, of course we would. I searched left and right and left and right and I find a transparent one in the shape of a heart. I give it to Dawn because her and Uncle Cal are in love. She says that can count as something new for her wedding day. She explains that brides like to have something new, something old, something borrowed, and something blue. Now, a couple of those didn't really make sense, but I went along with it. She explained that now she just needs something borrowed. I tell her no need to fear, Fancy Nancy is here to save the day. I grab Jojo and we run over to my cabin. I rip open my suitcase and pull everything out until I find the perfect thing. I give it to Dawn. Why, thank you, darling. You're welcome. And now, after that, there was a reception. It wasn't technically a reception because the wedding hadn't happened yet, but it was a party. There wasn't a DJ, but my Uncle Cal was playing the piano, and I still danced the night away. And I even got to stay up till midnight. But I never realized how loud the wilderness could be. Crickets chirp and owl hoots. And I finally fall asleep. It only seems to have to get up an hour later to get ready for the wedding. I'm all dressed up in my beautiful dress. And the ceremony starts and I start to cry a little because that's what you do at weddings. You cry. And Dawn is so beautiful. She's exquisite, ravishing, and beautiful. Can you tell what she borrowed from me? The sun rises and my Uncle Dawn, my Uncle Cal and Dawn start to kiss. And they are married. And there is one thing on my mind. There is nothing more fancier than a non-traditional wedding. Oops.